Hi, everyone. I can see some people have joined in already, but I would wait till 3 to introduce myself and start the webinar, just so everyone can be here before we start. So, since we're a minute away, I'll just start with introducing myself. My name is Zara Baker. It's very nice to be here. Today's topic, I think, is a really fun topic, and I hope everyone enjoys it. I have been conducting the 99 webinars for quite some time now. I think it's been 5 plus or 6 plus years. And I was based out of Chicago, so I used to do these workshops on site. But then I moved back to California, and since then I have been doing these on Zoom, and it's a lot of fun. So, what normally the way I conduct these sessions is I'll walk you through this presentation. We have a lot of material to cover. I hope an hour is enough time for us to go through this material. I received really interesting feedback last time with our webinar. The audiences really enjoyed it. And then they basically wanted to see something more hands on. Like, for example, if you have attended my webinars before, you know I do talk a lot about personal branding, social media presence, digital presence. And some of their feedback was they would actually like to see, for example, how to set up a good Instagram profile, how to set up an LTK that I talked about it, and I'll cover that today as well. How to set up a Linktree account or a Beacon account. So they wanted to basically see all of that. So I incorporated some of that feedback into today's presentation. And I'm happy to pause if people have any questions. I'll walk you through this presentation. We'll take a break when I'm on slide, let's say slide 14. And during that time, people can raise their hands. If they have any questions, they can ask those questions. And then we'll basically resume. And then at the end as well, I always try to keep some time. So if people have any questions, then they're always welcome to ask those. So make a list of as many questions as you want to ask today, and then basically we'll go from there. And I'll love some feedback as well. It's always helpful to create future topics based on what you guys want to see next. So today's topic is an interesting topic. It is the future of fame, building a career without Hollywood, how creators are turning attention, audiences, and influence into real career opportunities. I would give you a heads up that people who had attended the last webinar before, they might think it's the same topic, but it's not. We are going to talk about the actual application of how you can design a system for yourself to be discovered and get the right opportunities and be presented in front of the right people. And the purpose of this webinar is basically giving you all those tools that is going to make you more independent in the long run, where you don't need an agent or casting directors always to land appointments. It's a super, super interesting topic for people who are interested in becoming influencers or creators on social media. Um, right now, it's an overlapping audience, whether you're an aspiring model, creator, or an influencer. So I'll just jump right in. For most of entertainment history, someone else decided who got an audience. It's either a casting director who conduct, all kinds of casting calls and then pick the right person. But now you don't need their permission, and you don't need to wait until you find the right opportunity or the right type of agency to work with. Today, anyone with a phone can basically publish their content to the world. The opportunity is no longer just getting discovered, it's building something worth discovering. Because as you know, with social media, it's very easy to get visible, but then you still need to have a game plan of what people should know you for. So, this is a little bit about me. I began my career as a fashion model before transitioning into business. That's what I do full time now, helping aspiring models and actors and businesses as well. I've spent more than 16 years helping brands, entrepreneurs, and professionals stand out in a competitive industry. Today, I combine my experience in both worlds to help aspiring models and actors build their personal brand, increase their visibility, and position themselves for paid opportunities. I am passionate about helping talented people turn their passion into a successful career. That is the whole idea. So, some of the learning outcomes, let's see what you will learn today. So, by the end of the workshop, you'll understand how to explore how social media and the creator economy have changed who can build influence and how. If I'm sure you're familiar with what the creator economy is, but if it doesn't make sense, I'll just explain that very quickly. So basically, as you know, when you go on your TikTok or on your Instagram, you see a lot of people who have hundreds and thousands and sometimes millions of followers, and they post videos or content about a certain topic. It could be new moms posting about how to take care of children. It could be fashion influencers, just like get ready with me type of content where they show you what type of dresses, bags, different items they use. This industry is, I would say, predominantly females, but there's a lot of male influencers entering the industry as well. And of course, LGBTQIA plus and people of all genders, age groups, ethnicities, and how the monetization model of how they make money is basically once you have a certain audience that follows you. And it doesn't need to be millions of followers. It could be anywhere from minimum, let's say 2,000 followers, but they're relevant followers, certain type of people who follow you and your content. You can land brand deals. And basically, based on what people shop for, when you post that content, you get paid via commissions. And I'll show you in a little bit how they track how that sale has been coming from you. So we'll cover that towards the end of this presentation. So that's basically the creator economy, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. You will also learn how to turn your interests, skills, and perspectives into content people choose to follow. We are in a very, I would say, we are in the information era. We are even past the attention era. We are in the information era. Everyone is drowning with information. But then there is still a huge need of creators or social media influencers who offer value, and I would say niche value. Like if someone is looking for a certain type of, I would say, look, or they have certain type of interest, there's still a lot of need of those, influencers and that type of content. Um, Understand how your audience influence and trust can lead to collaborations, partnerships, bookings, and income. I would say that it's really important for us to know our audiences because they can be your future customers in the long run. So study about them, meet people that age group. If you already have a social media profile and you know that I have a lot of women or men, I'm just giving an example under the age of 25 that follow me, learn about them. What are their pain points? What is the day in the life of? What are their frustrations? What kind of content or products or services they could be interested in. So the more you learn about your audience, the you will have a better ability to basically grow that audience and monetize that audience as well. Create a strategy that integrates social platforms, relationships, and owned assets to drive long-term career growth. So I've actually created kind of like a technical guide, and I hope it's not too boring. I've tried to keep it as short and concise as possible, but I really want you to walk away with practical tools so you can basically, after this webinar, you feel really inspired and you can go over the weekend and say, I am creating my creator Instagram, account today. I'm going to write that bio. I'm going to sign up for Beacon, and I'm going to basically sign up for LTK. And I know that those all sounds like acronyms right now, but once I cover those slides, then everything will start making sense. I promise you that. So let's see how fame used to work. And this is back in the day. I would say that was a little bit of my sense of humor, right? Because this is very, very long time ago. But how fame used to work. Fame used to be built from the top down. Talent, agent, manager, studio, network, label, publisher, then distribution, then audience. And I would like simplify it. Basically, the industry was all about who you know. And if you were not in the right city and in the right place, it was really hard for you to get discovered. You'd have to be really lucky to get discovered, and that's why if you look at that time period before the technology era in general, or the dot-com era in general, everyone was moving to New York and California, especially California for the film industry, is that if they wanted to land a role so they could meet the right type of people. But we are talking about millions of people, and how what opportunities they would have to like meet the right person. So that's how the industry worked before. The institution controlled the distribution, and they controlled who they want to work with, who they want to hire. And distribution controlled attention. Distribution means that, when a film is created or when a photo shoot is done, what kind of publications they would work with, because those studios and the creators themselves, they need to, make their money as well and return on investment. So that's the distribution. And that controlled your attention. If you were working in a very short film that had a very small audience, then that would be your audience. There was no way you could have a larger audience. It was just the people who were looking at that content. But right now, it's sky's the limit, basically. And the attention created the fame. So your attention, though, was controlled by the agents and the power players in the industry. You had very little control on it. And I think I can safely say that I think a lot of very talented people were wasted as well, because they weren't identified by the right people, or the right people for some reason didn't want it to help them. So let's see where we are right now. So this is the greatest shift. And I've actually trademarked this framework that I use with my aspiring models, actors, creators, influencers. It's called the star power framework, because the whole idea is to find your star power. I think all of us have a star power. We just need to find it. And the way this framework works is basically authenticity, something really original about you, because I know I'm going to use a little bit of science here as well. I think we're all born unique. Science has also proven this, that we are biologically born unique as well. All of us have a unique DNA, a unique code, unique behaviors, unique looks, different from our parents as well. And I think that's what makes us authentic. That's what makes us interesting. So you have to really find out what's that one thing about you that makes you really interesting. So it's authenticity. Give people something distinctive to remember. And the only way you can give people something distinctive to remember is if you're honest about yourself and you find something really unique about you. And then once you find that uniqueness about you, make it visible, show up consistently where your audiences can discover you. And then empathy. Understand your audience well enough to create a genuine connection. So finding out something very unique about yourself, making it visible by going on social media, talking about it online, as an example. And the third one is empathy, knowing your audience, really understanding where they come from. So that's basically, in a nutshell, the star power framework. Uh, I always check to the middle of the presentation if everyone can see screens and all is good. Okay. Okay, so this is my first case study. She is an influencer. Obviously, you can see she's a very attractive model. She had really good presence on TikTok, but her content was kind of all over the place. Her name is Patricia Schnellberger, and she's originally from Europe, but now she's based out of Florida here in the United States. And she talked about she had the opportunity to travel a lot, not for business assignments. Her family was abroad too, so she would travel, and she would post pictures wearing different type of clothes, different type of outfits, different type of bags. She was a fashionista, loved all those things. And how she was monetizing that platform before is that she had TikTok. And apparently on TikTok, if you go on TikTok live and if you start sharing your story, it doesn't even have to be relevant. There are people who would pay you. I know it sounds crazy, but they would. They would just pay to watch your content, basically. But it's dimes and cents, right? So that's where Patricia was. And I worked with her because she wanted to be represented, and she really wanted to turn this passion of her, which was simply posting about her life and everything on social media, into a business where she could actually monetize this platform. So I'll show you a case study of what we did. So this is her website, developed her website. It's all kinds of e-commerce on it. And then there's a platform where basically whatever you buy, you can post. You have to work with those brands though. You have to take pictures, you post it on that platform, then you copy a link, you post it on your Instagram, connect all of that experience on your website. So when people come and they're like, okay, get ready with me, I want the swimsuit that she's wearing, and then they click on that, and then they are taken to that creator platform. When they buy it, the person, the influencer who's created that content, gets a certain commission paid. And there are thousands of people right now buying from her, basically jewelry collections, swimwear, and a lot of luxury travel items. So she's making money while having fun. Traveling was her basically her favorite thing to do, and now she travels and she dresses up and she posts it and posts those links. People buy it, she gets paid. It's a super fun business, because it's like we've turned this business into a revenue generating model. So she had an engaged social media audience, as I mentioned, but lacked a distinctive brand that positioned her for premium collaborations and long term growth. And I would say, I would simplify it. The main reason why she didn't have that premium brand is because she was talking about things sometimes all over the place. Like she would be talking about a suitcase that she's taking using at an airport, and then she would be talking about a Starbucks. And that's something that sometimes is a good idea to avoid that. If you're adding content into your videos or pictures that make sense, that's relevant, it makes sense. But if it's all over the place, you're talking about everything. One day you are a fashion influencer, the other day you are somebody else, then it becomes really difficult for brands to partner with you. And one thing that I always mention is that it's also really important to follow ethics. I'm sure you have known that a lot of influencers, once your target audience started growing, social media can be a pretty toxic place, and a lot of them have been in trouble because they have said something that was against ethics or was considered racist. So we have to be very, very careful. And I always say that keep your sense of humor to yourself, because we live in times where perhaps the only thing we can get away with is knock knock jokes. We cannot be funny about things because they can be taken in a very negative way at times, and that's the end of this online business basically. So we created a creator influencer roadmap for her, developed a luxury influencer brand. That's all, everything that goes into branding. As you can see, the pictures, they look very editorial, very high quality. Refined her positioning, told her that, hey, based on the data on your social media platforms, people don't engage with you when you're drinking Starbucks. They don't care about it, but they do engage with you when you recommend them a certain type of suitcase or a certain type of swimwear when you're traveling. So those are the things you need to talk about. So that's basically part of her positioning. I gave her very strict 4 content pieces to talk about, just 4 topics to talk about, and just stick to it, not anything else. Leveraged her international travel lifestyle, expanded her audience, and launched an affiliate e-commerce platform, which is the LTK that I'll show you in a little bit, to support long-term monetization. So from $0 or maybe making like $10 on a TikTok live, we brought her to 7,500 in monthly income, and now she's, I think, 10 or 15 every month, while she's traveling and while doing everything. And another tip I always give people is once you start making money on this stuff, it's really important to anything that you have used for that content, you can submit that for taxes. It's super important. That's where actually the revenue opportunity is, because becoming an influencer is kind of expensive, especially fashion influencers. You need to have the makeup and the accessories and all that. But she has been submitting all of that to taxes. It's directly tied to her business, so it's considered a cost. And she experienced a 65% increase in follower growth because she was giving people relevant content. A part of this was also some irrelevant people who were just trolls and just there to add comments dropped off as well. But then we gained people that we really needed who could turn into potential customers. And she also secured representation with 3 major agencies. So she's doing pretty good at the moment. And this was a 3 months, I would say 3 months engagement. And then I have Orlando Persifier. Orlando is based out of Chicago. I met him in Chicago. And he was a dreamer. He really wanted to become a commercial model. And at that time, he was bartending, waitressing, doing whatever he could to make the ends meet, basically, and was super discouraged. He felt like, he would never break it really into the industry or generate any revenue. So aspired to, as I mentioned, aspired to become a commercial model and get into acting, but he lacked a distinctive personal brand. So he didn't even have social media platforms when I met with him, and he didn't know that was a good way to start. So I helped him with developing a personal brand, his professional positioning, so he could stand out in a very competitive industry. So I call this a dreamer model roadmap. And why I call this is because there are people who don't even know where to start from. They don't have any social media presence. And then there are others like Patricia who have a very distinctive, very strong social media presence. So it's fine if you don't have it. That's why you are here today. So developed a market ready personal brand for him, refined his visual identity. Again, you could see it's a very distinct look here that he has. His portfolio, his digital presence, and positioned him for commercial modeling, acting, and agency representation. So Orlando came anywhere from $0 to $10,000 in monthly income. He had a 40% increase in his social media following. And then he secured, which was surprising to me, five major talent agencies were basically representing him because he had a very editorial look. And this includes anything from automotive advertising to, outfits and cell phones and all of that. So the whole idea of the webinar today is to help you build your own star power. So before you choose a platform and say, oh, should I just go to Instagram or Facebook or YouTube? Where should I start from? Um, or chase followers or define the space you want to own. Ask yourself this question, your talent. I know I've said that many times. What are you naturally good at? Your interests, what could you create consistently? Because becoming an online influencer is a lot of work. And I always tell people that before they sign up for it, where they have to like record literally 80% of their life, it's really important for them to ask this question, do they really want to do this? Are they passionate about it? Because if you're not, you're going to hate being in front of the camera, and that's going to impact your mental health. So it's really important to ask yourself this question. And then also consider safety situations. I always tell moms or, people who have someone, I don't know, just they have someone like a negative influence in their life, people like trolling on their social, that's not a good time to start that. Like you have to really put safety in place first and then think if this is really something for you. And then your perspective, what makes your point of view different? And your audience, who would actually care about what you're posting? Because once people care about what you're posting, that's where it turns into a business. So it has to be the right people. So find out what you're really good at. Second, ask yourself, can I really do this? Would I really enjoy my life? Um, then ask yourself, why is my content different? Because there are a million other people creating content online. And then your audience, why would they care? So, what does famous actually mean in today's world? I think becoming famous is a cash generation strategy these days because if you have online influence, and by famous, I don't mean millions of people following. If you have right 1,400 people following you, you have 1,400 potential customers. So that's the mindset that you need to have. So what is fame? Basically, it's people know who you are. It should not be for personal ego. It should be so I can turn this into a business. Like that should be your thought process. Influence, people care about what you create, think, or recommend. That makes you famous or influential. Career capital, your reputation, audience, relationships, and influence create opportunities. So just don't chase fame, build career capital. In my opinion, fame is career capital. If there's no career capital involved in it, which means like how have you turned this passion into a well-paying career, then you don't need the fame, if that makes sense. So I know I have been going for a while. I'll take a short break. We have a small group today, but I'll take a short break and I'll see if someone wants to raise their hands, if they have any questions, so I can respond to them. And I'm so sorry. I have a super, super bad background in my office today because I moved to my new apartment and I haven't decorated it yet. So I'm very sorry about that. Okay. Hello.
Hi,
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Julie Marie Reeder. It's the first time that I'm getting to meet you, so thank you for taking my question.
Of course.
So I am a a brand ambassador, an affiliate, and um, an actress and a promotional model. And so
Okay.
sometimes I often have a hard time, like you mentioned, try to focus on one like part of your star power identity.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm wondering now. Should I just like branch out and create different like social media pages for like brand ambassador, categorization? Or what do you recommend in a situation like that where you're like I'm an up and coming indie artist with songs out
Hmm.
with like Gucci Mane, Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, Crazy Bone, but I'm unknown, trying to build up a platform. And then like sometimes I'll go on Instagram, and for instance, a brand ambassador for Malibu Sunglass Club. So I'll like do a promo reel for that, but then speak about my music at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, no, thank you. So,
Mm.
yeah, I would say I'm sure you're very talented because you have different talents. And that is a part of your identity. I would say you are versatile, right? That's one way to look at that too, because what I was referring to mostly before was people who have, like, besides creative talents, they have a lot of other talents as well. And that's great. But sometimes then your audiences get confused. They're like, what are you really good at? What am I buying from you? Why am I here? Right. So a lot of your talents look like they're creative talents, right? The indie artist, the brand ambassador for different things. And you have things going on for you. So I wouldn't pause one stream because I want to give myself an identity. The identity doesn't always have to be like, vertical, like a very straight line. It doesn't have to be that way. What I would ask you is two questions. First thing, what I would ask you is, what is that one thing that you think you're really good at? And it could be something very personal as well. Like, I'm really good at connecting with people. I really like meeting people. I like making people happy. That's why I create music. So, what is that one thing that you think is really unique about you? Let's start with that.
I would probably have to say telling a story. So Taylor Swift's former manager, Rick Barker, has coached me as my music coach.
Okay.
He doesn't do management anymore. But like for example, like when my song "Icing Everybody Up" came out with Gucci Mane, he didn't think that my Victoria's Secret hat and the outfit I wore for the album cover really matched a rap genre type of music. And the thing is, I do all genres: country, rap, pop. I've released over 200 songs, and um, I guess it's kind of like I don't want, like, I want to build up my own brand. I'm not Taylor Swift. I'm Julie Marie Reeder. I have completely different sound than any other artist out there. And I would say that, being a unique individual, it's probably just giving that message of uniqueness that I'm really good at telling a story
Hmm.
about things that I've experienced so that people know the truth,
Yeah.
how
And what
I've
is the truth?
struggled.
What is the truth
Basically,
you're offering?
basically how I've struggled through, picking up my cross to defend our homeland, earning reward, but having politicians take that from me in power plays and exposing that not as a racial superiority, but as how the diversity can be used in a mannerism to exploit and or oppress other individuals that don't agree with those political views, for example.
Okay. Okay. So what I would suggest is that if you're a storyteller, then the story itself should not be tied to, and that's my point of view, right? You can take it or not take it. But what I'm saying is tie the story to an actual business benefit. So I would say that because you've been there, done that for so long, from music to brand representation, talk about some of the struggles in the industry and then tell people how you have come across, like how you came a long way, like how you did that. What made you do that? And then tell stories of your actual experiences. For content, I would say because you are already involved in a lot of different things, just do behind the scenes everywhere you go, take a selfie stick and then just record behind the scenes. When you were doing the videos, I'm sure that would be a treasure trove of content, basically. Working with a celebrity already, and you must have outfits, different things. Just record behind the scenes because of the fact that you already had gigs, you're giving people an aspiration. They're like, oh my God, I want to be like her. I want to also record, a music video. And I want to be a brand ambassador as well. So talk about those experiences because what I would say is, of course, we all have freedom of speech in the country, but the more you talk about the difficult topics, you would basically miss out on a certain audience because we have so much, as you know, polarization in the country right now that people have completely lost the context that if someone has different opinions, you can still be friends with them. It's totally fine. So I would say stay away from topics like that because it might impact your larger audience. I would say focus more on your work and record it, put it out there so people can see you as this active person who is doing all these great things. And then if you're a storyteller, tell people why you do what you do and what your journey has been. People love journey content. They always want to know like how you came so like this far because they want to be there too. Does that make sense?
It does, and like, my question is, so I've went live on Facebook before, but I've never gone live on Instagram. So I wanted
Okay.
to ask you, like, for my first Instagram live, do you have any suggestions as to how long I should stay live and to what I should talk about, um, to promote, like, to get that star power to build an audience?
Yeah. So on Instagram right now, organic content takes quite some time to gain traction. But what does work is journey content. I would not start with live right away. I would keep live at 10% because people don't know you. They have to discover you first. And one of the best ways to get discovered is to share different type of formats on Instagram. So I would start with carousels. It's, three steps to get ready before record your first music videos. And then I would do like three steps carousel, like slide by slide that people can swipe through and add your pictures there, add some fun content there. Then I would do pre recorded reels that you take your time to record. And then I would give live at the moment like 10%. And I would give carousels like 20%. And then I would give reels 30% because you have to get discovered. Instagram algorithm has to discover for you first before you start doing live. Now I have another question for you. Is your Instagram connected with your Facebook page?
It is. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you can easily drive all the audiences if you have, provided that you have a Facebook page, not a Facebook profile. And you can easily create a Facebook page through your profile. You can easily drive because Facebook owns Instagram as well. So if you have audiences on Facebook page, you can drive them to Instagram as well. As long as you share the same content you're posting on Instagram, they get shared at both places. So that's the best way to share audiences as well between two platforms.
Yeah, I haven't created a Facebook page for my music yet. I should work on that. I just have been
Yeah.
using my Facebook profile. So yeah, I will put that on my agenda to get that done.
Definitely put that on your agenda and just create one Facebook page. Don't create too many social media handles. That comes later. Like creators can make many, many social media handles to expand their real estate. But I always tell people to avoid the digital sprawl where they're all over the internet and people like, which identity should I pick? So create one Facebook page. And then if you have a lot of Facebook friends to your profile, invite all of them to follow the Facebook page and then share the same content on Instagram and Facebook page as well.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I think that the advice that you gave me about the carousel is amazing, and I'll have to rewatch this video because
Yeah.
um, I want to make sure that I don't miss a beat when it comes to that. Um, the other question that I have is, like, I've always been asked, will you model these sunglasses for us? Will you be a brand ambassador for our watch company? And I've noticed that it slowed down, and I wanted to know if you had any suggestions for like either pitching myself for brand ambassador opportunities, brand sponsorships, raising like capital. Do you have any suggestions for anything like that?
Yeah. So Raising capital is super easy, my friend. You could create a GoFundMe page and tell people that if they want to fund your dream, they can, and they would. So raising capital is cheap these days. That's easy thing to do. But when it comes to the products, that's where I think that question about what's your interest, what's your personality like. If I had seen a couple of your like photo shoots, pictures, music videos, and I'll share my email in the end. Feel free to send me some of those things. Then I can give you better suggestions of what type of product partnerships you should have. Because that's where things need to be very, very focused on one thing. Because if you start doing handbags, cosmetics, jewelry, all types of accessories in the beginning, a lot of brands can lose interest because they're like, so what are you really, really promoting? You know, are you the person who always promote accessories? My thought process would be that when you're at a music video, provided if unless the music video they have their creative director sometimes who design outfits and stuff, if that is not the case, you're bringing your own outfit, that should be an LTK deal, because if you wore that outfit in a music video and then posted that link, a lot of people would go and buy it because you wore it at a music video. So think about it in a music video, like what is the most important thing? I'm sure there are accessories as well. If you post your behind the scenes pictures in a music video and some reels as well, when they're putting makeup and you're getting ready for, the videography session, at that point, if you have linked all those items that if you want to, look like this, then you can go and buy it. That would be a good idea. For musicians, accessories do count because, musicians and, artists wear a lot of accessories. So that could be your thing. Um, and you can make it super creative where it's like if you're wearing a necklace in a picture or at a shoot, you can talk about it. That necklace is a story. You wore it at that place. You always wear it when you want to feel happy or before you go on a certain assignment. It makes you feel that way. So, as a storyteller, it should be easy for you to turn those product content into super interesting nuggets that people can take and then they can go and shop. But I'm going to cover LTK in a little bit, which is the shopping platform. Um, I think that might be helpful for you.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, thank you.
Of course, of course. Anyone else has any questions? No questions? Okay. Well, then let's get back to our presentation. Okay, so we were talking about what you want to be known for. And I know I've covered this topic before too, but this is very important. I can't emphasize on this enough. I always ask myself that too, because I'm involved in different types of businesses too. And I always ask myself, what am I great at? What am I really good at? That's an important question to ask because it's also an important question because sometimes our identities change, we evolve, we get into new things. And then before we hop on those new things, we have to ask ourselves, can we monetize those things? Or is it going to really kind of disrupt something really amazing that we have created? So that's a good question to ask yourself always. So start with what you want to be known for. Identity, who am I? Not your name, age, and where you come from. It's like, who am I? Am I the artist, the creator, the actor? Who am I? What do I know or love? Very important. Again, work related question. Very, very important. Of course, your experiences, the type of family you grew up with, the type of environment you grew up with, of course, that impacts what you know or love. But then ask yourself this as a business question: what perspective can I own? What is that real thing? Is it storytelling? Is it fashion? What is it exactly that you can own? And who do I want to reach? Who's your target audience? And then once you have all those questions answered, and sometimes people don't have all the questions answered. They know who am I? I'm the more of like that creative person. I'm a music person. I am an artist, whatever that is. Even if you have one of these questions, turn identity into content. And that's the beauty of social media. You can start out sharing some things, gather some data, and then see what people are resonating with. And then you can answer the remaining questions. You don't have to wait until all those four questions are answered because these look like very straightforward questions, but they're very difficult questions. If I ask a lot of those questions to people, they sometimes freeze. They're like, I don't know, I'm many things. But on social media, it's really important once you want to have a social media footprint that you're very sure your best skills, like something you're really great at. That's what we want to talk about. We don't want to talk about everything. And I would say that again, the discussion I had before is that we don't want to talk about everything does not mean that if you have multiple talents, you can't talk about them. If the multiple talents are like I'm a model, but then I'm a surfer, and then I'm a scuba diver as well, that's just way too much information. But if all of those talents are within the same industry, please talk about them because that shows you're very talented and versatile. So then turn this identity into content. So choose three content pillars. First of all, your style. What is that? Fashion, beauty, products. Like what is exactly? And these are just examples. I'm not saying everyone needs to have fashion, beauty products. It could be traveling. It could be something else. It could be men's products. It could be anything, but three content pillars. Do not go more than three content pillars. It confuses people. And then they're like, well, you are everything, but you're not something I'm looking for. So don't go more than three content pillars. And all these content pillars need to be relevant, they need to make sense. Your journey, behind the scenes, career experiences, easiest content to create. You don't even need to think that hard because it's like, okay, here I am at a casting call and you're recording that video. It's like, I'm so nervous before I get into the room. I wore my lucky shirt, whatever your story is. Like, it's really important to cover that journey and share that content. If you get the gig, always record behind the scenes. Take a selfie stick with you, it's a lifesaver. Personality, lifestyle, opinions, humor, interests. I would be very honest about it. I'm a very straightforward person. I don't do a lot of humor and all of that. And that's just my personality. And I'm not going to try to force myself to be funny. I know some people have great sense of humor. I have my own sense of humor. Most people tell me my jokes are only funny for myself. And I try to use it as needed, but I don't try to force myself to be someone I'm not. So if you're a serious person, keep that personality. If you have a really good sense of humor, because others tells you that you have a really good sense of humor, use that sense of humor to your advantage. But I say build a personality because I think no one is like truly born with a personality. Sometimes we get so busy in life that we don't even think about like what's our personality. So today define that, write 4 words about yourself that tells us what your personality is because that personality needs to shine on social media. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it. I think I should be able to zoom in a little bit here. So this is an Instagram basically setup screenshot. And if anyone had a hard time seeing it, reach out to me via email. I can send the presentation to you. I can send the screenshot to you. Or if you're stuck somewhere, send me a screenshot. I can help you. So I have outlined some of the examples, Instagram bio examples for creators. Basically, these are all, by the way, I would say templated profiles. These are not real people, but this is the best way to write an Instagram bio. So in Instagram, if you haven't signed up yet, you have to sign up for Instagram. I'm sure you know how to do that. If you have a Facebook page, make sure your Facebook and Instagram are connected. They're owned by the same company, by Meta. So it's really important that they are connected so you can share audiences in between both platforms. Um, if you only have a Facebook profile, make sure you have created a Facebook page. So your Facebook page should be linked to the same profile and do not create multiple pages. Only businesses that need to create multiple pages are companies that have a lot of locations. But people like personal brands or creators, you should only have one Facebook page. And then you should create an Instagram. So once you sign up for Instagram, you're going to see this really interesting option. There is like what is like a radio button on your phone. You're going to be able to see it. It's like 3 lines. When you click on it, you have to go to settings and privacy. Very important step. And then in settings and privacy, it's going to ask you if you want to turn this personal profile into a business profile. So select the business profile, and then it's going to give you 2 options. If you want to be a creator or a business, you will click creator, and then you're going to save that option. So now you have Instagram's algorithm knows that you have a creator Instagram profile. If you don't have that, there's no value in doing the shopping links or any of those things. So if you have an Instagram account today, and it's a personal profile, or by mistake you turn it into a business profile, make sure you turn it into a creator profile today. It's going to change a lot of things, and it's a really important step. Then choose a recognizable username. um, a lot of actors and models, they pick stage names. I did not pick a stage name when I was actively modeling. I used my name, Zara. But then when I got into business, the problem was that if you searched on the internet with Zara Baker, it's all my modeling profiles that would show up. And as a businesswoman, I didn't want that because that would confuse people. Because for me, there are certain audiences where I talk about my modeling. There are other audiences where I don't talk about my modeling. I only talk about my business background. Give people what they need to know, right? So I added my middle name, which is Star. So Zara Star Baker. Like that's what I developed my entire digital and social media footprint with online. But if you have a stage name that you want to be known for modeling, because let's say you are 20 some years old and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to see how this works, but I'm also attending college. Maybe I become a doctor tomorrow or a business person, and then this would just be a passion. If that is the case, if you're already thinking along those lines, pick a stage name because once the internet knows you with your real name for doing something, it's just going to stick with you for a long time. And you won't be able to separate two careers online. And right now, one of the first things people do is they search for you online. So you can create a stage name and then you can set up your Instagram profile with your stage name. If you want to use your real name, then use your real name. But it has to be a name. Don't put something like cool cat or something, anything like that. No, it should be a name. It should be a name you want to be known for, your original name or your stage name. Then use a clear profile image. Really important. Make sure you have no friends in that picture, no boyfriends, girlfriends on Instagram profile picture. Make sure you're not holding your cat or your dog. It should be a very clear picture. Even that image in the templated profile where she's holding the phone, we don't want that. We just want a very good, like my favorite one is this one right here, or this one, because it's like a clear picture. um, I always recommend people look into the camera. It looks like and smile, slightly smile without showing teeth because it just shows that you're looking at your audience, and those pictures always get better engagement. Optimize your name field. Really, really important as well. Whatever your name is, stage name or original name. Then write a positioning led bio. It's fashion and lifestyle creator. That's an easy enough bio for anyone to understand. And then she outlines what she does. She does style inspo, which is ready with me videos. She does everyday luxury and travel, and she's based out of Los Angeles. This is a really good profile. And then if you have a portfolio website, add that. If you don't, then add beacons.ai link. And I'll show you what beacons.ai is. And the purpose of adding something like a beacons is because Instagram doesn't allow us to post links unless we are advertising. If we are posting organic or free content on Instagram, we cannot link anything. People won't be able to click on it. So basically, if you have something like a beacons.ai, you can add all your links there and then link it with their Instagram profile. So when you share a link, it would be a Beacons link. People would click on that and they'll go to Beacons, and that's where they can buy from you. That makes sense. It sounds complicated, but it's not. And then create useful hashtags. Create useful highlights because hashtags don't work the way they used to before. Hashtags used to be super, super important before, not anymore because AI with artificial intelligence search has become more smarter, so not as much. Create useful highlights. So on Instagram, there are these like little specialized, like little bubbles right here that you could see. Add there. So basically, what do? You're like model, actor, behind the scenes, whatever, and add like a nice little picture in the bubble. So your content is kind of like in different categories. That is a good way to separate your content. So when people, let's say if you're a model, people click on the first bubble, they will see the content only related to your modeling. If they click the second bubble, which is acting, then they'll see only the content related to your acting. So that makes your profile more organized. Uh, and then turn on professional tools. So that is also a setting thing. You have to go to your settings, and then you're going to see an option to turn on professional tools. It's really important because Instagram might send you recommendations as well. So, and one thing I always add is if you do become a successful Instagram influencer, Meta does a really good job at setting up influencer events, and then they invite all their influencers and they give you like training. I help people with Meta and other platforms, so I'm a part of that, like that program where I attend trainings and I get all the new, because algorithms are always changing, right? Behind every social media platform, there is an algorithm, an AI that controls everything. So When they change that, then if you're part of that community, you always get latest and best practices. So there are a lot of perks to become an influencer. Okay. I know that was a lot, and I'm sure you'll take some time to digest this content and make sure you have a copy of this presentation too, because it's a good thing when you're creating profiles and stuff to like look at the screenshots and go through things. So I went there a little bit more in detail because Instagram bio is very important. People have like less than 5 seconds to look at an Instagram bio and see if it like resonates with them or not. So who you are, commercial model plus actor, for example, what you create, style, fitness behind the scenes, where you are, Los Angeles, available worldwide, what to do next, portfolio, if you have a link, or your beacon.ai profile, plus your contact information. And that's it. That should be an Instagram bio. So now let's create your Instagram content system. So every content format has a job. And what I mean by format is if it's a static image, just an image like this, versus a reel, which is a video, versus a carousel, which is the bunch of images that you can swipe through. So those are all different types of Instagram formats. And in the beginning, it's really important to post a wide variety of formats and then collect data. If you have a creator profile on Instagram, you should be able to see analytics and see where you're getting the most engagement. Is it on carousels? Is it on static images? Is it on reels? And then based on that, you can create more of that content that gets a lot of attention. Now keep in mind that changes as well because algorithms get updated. Super annoying. You do something and you think it's going to work and then it doesn't work because they have changed the algorithm. So just make sure to keep an eye on it. And that's what I help my influencers with, so they can focus on posting content because that's a full-time job. And I can focus more on keeping an eye on what's next, what's coming, so I can give them a heads up on what they need to change. Um, so every content format has a job. They have different purposes. So that's why the lady I spoke with before, I was talking about for her to post reels because reels help you expand your reach. Reach means audience. It should reach out, to pop up on different people's devices and phones and all that. Reels are great for that. Carousels, depth, because when you create a new profile, you want to show people that you post deep content, not random things. So carousels, the bunch of images that people can swipe through, is super helpful. So reels is for reach, to expand your audiences so people can discover you. Carousels are more for depth, for content where you really want to put a spotlight on a certain topic. Then there are Instagram stories. They appear basically temporarily on people's feeds and then they disappear. It's to build relationships. And highlights, those bubbles, they are basically, they add proof because it shows like what you talk about. So this is like a complete Instagram content management system. I know for some people it's super confusing because some people would say, "Hey, I don't even have an Instagram profile yet, and I don't have enough content." If you don't have, if you have anything less than 10 posts, don't create a highlight yet. Only create highlights if you have been on Instagram and you have a lot of content there. Then you can basically segment that content, put it in different categories under the reels. But if you have like 5 posts or you don't have an Instagram profile yet, don't worry about highlights. Okay, so this is a little bit about the math behind all this fun stuff. Followers alone don't tell the whole story. It's really important. And I mean, I'm very active in the digital AI industry, and there's like a very, very active conversation is that what really matters, because for you what should matter is people buying from you. If you're doing the creator links and everything, just people watching your videos doesn't mean anything. It might be entertainment for them, so that doesn't mean anything. You want to get paid that way. So followers alone don't tell the whole story. What that means is when you look at your analytics and you're like, oh, I have like 7,000, what they call impressions, which means you got 7,000 eyeballs on a video. A lot of those eyeballs today are bots as well, AI bots. So it doesn't tell the whole story. So that's where the science of authenticity, like why it's really important to be unique and authentic and offer people value, becomes really important, because those 7,000 impressions, if a lot of them are bots and other people are just watching videos for entertainment because they're bored, we don't want that. So The most important question is reach. Are new people finding you? Like that's really important. Because if new people are finding you constantly, that means the team, the human team behind Instagram and the algorithms as well, they're putting your content higher on the algorithm because your content gets a lot of engagement. And they're like, okay, we need to show his or her content to more people. That's reach. Watch time. Are people staying long enough? Or they, for a 5 second reel, they watch it for like 2 seconds and they leave. It means you need to improve your content. Saves plus shares. Is your content valuable? So on Instagram, your audiences can save content or share the content. So both things are really important. You can see it on your analytics dashboard if people have saved it or shared it. That's a really good sign. Profile visits. Are people curious? Like how many times your profile get visited per day, per week, per month? Link clicks. Are people taking action? If you're sharing those shoppable links, are people even clicking on them, right? Because on the other side, where your products live, you can actually see if you made a sale, because obviously you will get paid, but you could check it there too. Inquiries. Is visibility creating opportunity? Now, if you have all of the above, the reach, the watch time, the saves and share, profile visits, link clicks, great. Inquiries is visibility. This is visibility, but then is this creating any opportunity that you can monetize or generate revenue on it? So this is super important. Own your audiences. Social media is rented land. Basically, that's what I call it, because all of those followers are owned by social media platforms, really. And if you don't do anything to, not, I would say, drive them out of Instagram, but give them another home, what's going to happen is that if Instagram changes their algorithm, or you by mistake do anything that violates their policy, you can be banned and you can lose everything. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. So the algorithm, platform changes, organic reach, like those are some things that continuously change all the time. So build your social media profile, use beacons. That's where audiences can be. Website portfolio, I would still highly recommend that, because once you have that, why I added email and contact here, you can create an email list, which, and with AI these days, it's so easy. If you have an email list and you have a subscription option on your website, so when you're wearing all the different outfits and bags and different things and going at different places, your audiences automatically get emails. Oh, she's showing up there, she posted a video. So that way you own your content, your life, and everything you have done does not depend only on Instagram. And then relationship, like build a relationship with your audience. And one way to build that relationship is when they comment on your posts and videos, especially when you're new. Make sure to comment back. Commenting is very important. It really improves your social media presence. And then we have the beacons setup, which is your creator hub. So if you go today and search for beacons.ai, you would find this tool. And then you set it up. I'm going to go really quick because I really want to be sure that you guys have like at least some time. So if you have any questions, you can ask too. So turn one link into your creator hub, add your portfolio website, latest content, the shopping links, work with me, media kit. You can add all of that on Beacon here and add like your profile picture too. And then you add a link of that Beacon profile to your Instagram profile. So turn content into income. And this is our monetization ladder. So let's say now you have the audience on Instagram, they've gained trust because you're following all the best practices. Then you have the affiliate, then you're getting brand partnerships, the products and services, and you have a real business basically. So this is LTK basically, and this is for uh, men, women, LGBTQI plus community. This is for everybody. Predominantly, it's very female focused, but there's a lot of very successful male influencers there as well, and others too. So make your content shoppable. So imagine you bought this dress, you post this dress here, then you copy a link of this dress, then you go to Instagram, create a nice little content about this dress, and then you post that pictures. And then you add a link of this post to your beacons.ai profile. So when people click on that Instagram post, they will go to Beacon and they'll click on there and then they'll come here and they'll shop it. So that's how this LTK works. And when they shop, you get a commission paid. And I know people who have made multi-million dollars with this platform. As you become higher up and become like a more successful influencer, they increase your commission as well. So I know people who basically would get 20% commission on a $5,000 dress too. So keep that in mind. And like people are buying those dresses, all over the world. So it's a pretty lucrative business. So so this is all your creator tool stack, all the tools I talked about here. You can easily go online and search for those. And this is my contact information. If you want to take a picture of it or something, if that helps, do it. Send me an email if you have questions. Send me feedback. I welcome that. Um, I am going to stop now, and I want to see if you guys have any questions and if you were able to get the contact information, because I'm going to stop sharing my screen very soon.
Hi, it's Julie. Thank you for the contact information. I received everything. I'm going to text you and give you my number.
Awesome. Okay. So we have very little time left. I want to see if anyone has any questions.
I was going to ask you, does it cost anything to join that influencer network, the LTK?
No, it doesn't cost anything, but they have to accept you. And that's what I help people with. So before you join LTK, they're very good at that. They would not respond to you if you applied. So people have to create their Instagram profile first, do all the things I'm saying, build that audience. Then they reach out to the LTK team and they apply for it. And then they screen your application. They see what type of profile you have, because you want to do it that way anyways, because LTK has a brilliant community of people who are like 24/7 support. They want to make you successful because that's how they make their money. So basically they look at your profile, they see if you have the target audience, very cleanly laid out content, and then they accept you into their program, and then they provide you training and support there too, and all types of tools and resources. So we want to make sure our Instagram presence meet all the LTK guidelines before we apply for there to become an influencer.
Okay.
Any other questions that anyone has?
Where can I follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram. If you search on Instagram for Zara Baker, you should be able to find me there.
Star Baker. Could you put it in the chat?
Yeah, let me
All
do
right,
that.
thank you.
Okay, someone is asking for me to share that slide again. Let me share with my contact information, so I'll share that again. Here is my contact information. Okay, so if no one has any questions at the moment, then I think we're good. We have another webinar tomorrow. And actually, tomorrow I'm planning on diving deeper a little bit into the LTK portion and how to become more successful there, because I had a lot of people asking me about, the influencer stuff. So I hope I can see you tomorrow as well, because tomorrow will be more in-depth continuation of what we did. Okay, awesome. I see you soon then. Well, have a great weekend. Rest some, but then I hope you got some inspiration today. And then you will basically, when you leave from here, you will maybe either start your Instagram profile or do research on all the platforms that I shared with you. Feel free to reach out if you couldn't get access to this presentation. I'll be happy to share that with you. But take care and bye.
Thank you. See you Saturday.
See you Saturday. Bye.